Alright guys, this is Flav from Boxing Evolution and we're on to the third video in the series, which is all about strength, how to develop it, and we're going to cover maximum strength, endurance strength and explosive strength. First of all, what is strength? There are actually three different aspects of strength. First of all is maximum strength. This is the greatest force that can be exerted in a single contraction. Endurance strength, the ability to express a force many times over. Explosive strength, the ability to express maximal force in minimal time. How do the muscles operate? Myofibrils, actin and myosin. The contractile apparatus in each muscle fibre is arranged in parallel long cylindrical strands called myofibrils. Actin and myosin are the contractile protein polymers contained in myofibrils, and they too are long and lie in parallel and lengthways. Using energy derived from ATP, the actin and myosin filaments attach via cross bridges and slide past each other in opposite directions, thus causing a contraction. Just like an oar in a rowing boat, it reaches out from the myosin filament or rowing boat and grabs onto the actin or water and pulls the actin towards it and then pushes it away. The cross bridge oar is then recycled so it can grab onto another bit of actin and so continue the contraction. This is the sliding filament and cross-bridge theories which explain how muscles shorten. Muscle motor units. A muscle motor unit consists of one alpha motor neuron together with all the muscle fibres it stimulates. Since a human body contains on average 250 million muscle cells and approximately 420,000 motor neurons, a motor unit will generally consist of a single motor neuron paired with many muscle fibres. A single muscle usually consists of a number of motor units working together, known as the motor pool. When the central nervous system requires that a muscle contract, an electrical signal is sent along the motor neuron, stimulating the muscle fibres to contract. Normally each contraction is followed by a brief period of relaxation of the muscle fibres, and this pattern repeats in a wave-like pattern known as a twitch. Prime movers and synergists. In order for the body to move, the muscles have two different operation types. These are known as prime movers. These are the big muscles that move your body parts, hence the name. These are the muscles that are visible on the surface. Synergists. These muscles help the prime movers. Stabilizers. These muscles hold your body parts in place, such as your joints, and maintain your posture whilst the movers are moving you. These muscles keep your body steady so the other muscles can do their job effectively. In a sense, they provide a firm base to work off. The three principal stabilizer muscle functions are trunk, also known as the core, the hip joint, the shoulder complex, agonists and antagonists. Due to the fact that muscles can only operate by contracting, in other words by pulling and not pushing, they are set up in pairs. These muscles are known as agonists and antagonists. During a movement, the muscle responsible for moving the body part shortens or contracts. This is known as the agonist. The antagonist muscle acts in opposition to the agonist muscle, stretching when the other muscle contracts. The antagonist muscle is responsible for moving the body part back to its original position. Each muscle acts as an agonist in one direction and the antagonist in the opposite direction. Here is a table of agonists and antagonists, which basically has the muscle name and the part of the body. So the pectoralis and the latissimus dorsi, which is also known as the chest and back, the anterior deltoids and the posterior deltoids, which is the front and back of the shoulder, the trapezius and the deltoids, which is the upper back and shoulders, the abdominus rectus and the spinous erectors, which are the abdomen and lower back, the left and right obliques, which is the left and right of the abdomen, the quadriceps and the hamstrings, which is the front and back of the thigh, the tibialis anterior and the gastrocnemius, which is the shin and the calf, the biceps and the triceps, which is the top and underside of the arm, the extensors and flexors, which is the forearm. Muscle control and coordination. The movement of muscles is coordinated and controlled by the nervous system. Muscles and the nervous system. The part of the brain responsible for controlling movement is known as the motor cortex. This sends messages or signals through the spinal cord via electricity to the nerves in the muscles that then tell the muscles to move. The motor cortex on the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, and the cortex on the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. The signals received by the muscles can either be from a person's desire to move, which is voluntary stimulus, or the signals may be a reflex, which is an involuntary movement. An example of this is when a doctor taps someone's knee with a hammer, making it jerk upwards. How do we make muscles stronger? We get strong by making your muscles work harder than they are used to. This is known as overloading. There are two effects of strength training: myogenic and neurogenic. Myogenic changes. Strength training results in muscle hypertrophy and increasing the cross-sectional size of existing fibres. This is achieved by increasing number of myofibrils, the sarcoplasmic volume, the protein, and the supporting connective tissues, which is also known as the ligaments and tendons. There are two types of changes in the muscle: intramuscular and intermuscular. Neurogenic changes. By repeatedly stimulating the muscle, you improve the response rate of the central nervous system. The patterns for recruitment of the muscles become more defined, and thus the movement becomes more efficient and effective. A lot of strength gains that occur during the first few weeks of strength training actually occur due to the improved recruitment of the motor units. What kind of strength does a boxer need? A boxer fundamentally needs explosive strength, but combined with this he needs endurance strength and maximal strength too. First of all, we're going to examine maximum strength. Maximum strength. Maximum strength consists of isotonic strength, which is further subdivided into concentric and eccentric. Concentric strength. This is when the muscle contracts and gets shortened. The force generated is greater than the resistance. This is the type of action most commonly used when lifting something. An example of this is a bicep curl. Eccentric strength. This is when the muscle lengthens while still under tension. The force generated is less than the resistance. Although the fibres are lengthening, they are still contracting to return to the start position in a controlled manner. An example of this is the downward movement of a bicep curl. Isometric strength. This is when the muscles remain the same length. The force generated is equal to the resistance. An example would be holding an object steady. Maximum strength and muscles. All of the muscle fibres within a motor unit will be of the same type, either fast or slow twitch. When training for power development, we must target the fast twitch muscle fibres. Low intensity exercise does not stimulate the fast twitch fibres. If the exercise does not stimulate a fast twitch motor unit, the muscle fibres will not adapt to the training. Therefore, high intensity exercise must be used to train the fast twitch fibres. When lifting heavy loads, maximal strength training, a high percentage of motor units are activated, which are the fast twitch motor units. Maximal strength training improves both intramuscular and intermuscular coordination. Maximum strength increases the size of the functional units of muscle tissue, develops maximum strength. This is known as myofibril hypertrophy. Myofibril hypertrophy. There is a lot of stigma around weight training and boxing. This rises from the belief that weight training will make you too big and thus become slow. As far as getting big is concerned, this is no easy task. Bodybuilders put a great deal of dedication towards becoming big, which involves eating a large amount of food and proper training. So while excessive max strength training can lead to problems, this strength quality must not be ignored. Through properly designed programs, max strength training can be used to enhance the power potential, i.e. improve your ability to recruit, hence utilise your fast twitch muscle fibres. Your maximum muscle strength is determined by your 1 rep max. 1 rep max. This is the maximum amount of weight you can lift in one repetition for a given exercise. This is the method used for determining the winner in powerlifting and weightlifting competitions. Maximum strength energy system. The energy system that is used for strength is the ATP PCR energy system. Maximum strength and boxing. A boxer ultimately wants to increase his power so that he can deliver punches that cause more damage to his opponent. A vital aspect of building power is increasing your maximum strength. The type of maximum strength the boxer mainly wants to focus on is concentric contractions. Having greater maximum strength ultimately means that less effort is required to keep your opponent at bay than if you were not as strong. This means less energy needs to be used. Developing maximum strength. To increase your overall maximum strength, weights need to be used. To improve your maximum strength, the best weight training method to use is to perform 8 to 12 reps at 80% of your maximum of your 1 rep max. Calculate your lifting weight. For example, if you can lift 100 kilograms, divide it by 10 to get 10%. 100 divided by 10 equals 10. Then multiply it by 8 to get 80%. 10 times 8 equals 80. So therefore 80 kgs will be your training weight. The weights need to be increased every couple of weeks to maintain overload. Process of working muscles. Work the agonists followed by the antagonists. This keeps the muscle groups balanced and prevents distortions in posture. Target fixator and prime mover muscles. Make sure both are worked on. Technique focus exercises. These are exercises that use movement specific to boxing. This enables intramuscular and intermuscular recruitment to be developed. In boxing, bench press will work the triceps and chest, which replicates the punching movement of the arms. Squats replicate the leg movement for when the punch is thrown. Abdominal twist machine replicates the way the body rotates during the punch. And you can actually use the cable pull to replicate the whole movement and strengthen the whole technique as a whole. Strength endurance is the ability of the body to maintain the muscles' contractile force. Endurance strength and muscles. When training for endurance, we must target the fast, medium and slow twitch motor units. This is to ensure that the best endurance is created in all three units. Endurance strength energy system. Endurance strength uses the ATP, PCR, anaerobic energy systems. Endurance strength from boxing. Endurance strength enables the boxer to keep throwing punches with a force many times over. This means that a boxer can keep his work rate up, the number of punches he throws in a round. There will be low, moderate and high intensity endurance that he needs to be developed. Only a limited number of full power punches can be thrown during a fight, as this requires instant ATP. A boxer therefore has to maximise his moderate endurance to keep the necessary force to keep his opponent away, saving his full power punches for when necessary. Developing endurance strength. Endurance strength involves low resistance with high repetitions, therefore exercise that involves this are required. Circuit training. Circuit training is a type of interval training in which strength exercises are combined with endurance and aerobic exercises, combining the benefits of both cardiovascular and strength training. Circuit means a group of activities or stations positioned around a facility that are to be visited in rapid succession. Endurance weights. This involves lighter weights at higher repetitions. Bag work. Punching a bag at a consistent pace for the required number of time and rounds. Explosive strength. Explosive strength can also be called power. Power is the rate at which work is done, or the rate at which energy is used or transferred. Work done equals force times distance. Power equals work done divided by time taken. This translates into power equals force times distance divided by speed. This means that if you want to have power, you need to develop two things: your total overall force and your total overall speed. First of all, we're going to examine force. A force is that which can cause an object with mass to accelerate. A force can also be known as a vector. A vector has two properties: a magnitude, which is the number time units, in other words size, and a direction. The force will be a combination of the size of the boxer's fist, which affects pressure, the mass, weight of the boxer throwing the punch, and the rate of acceleration of the punch. In this instance, we're talking about the strength aspect of the force. The stronger your muscles, the more force you'll have. The length of the boxer's limbs will also affect the force due to leverage. The next aspect of force is speed. Speed is the rate of motion, often defined as the distance travelled per unit of time. Time is actually a standardised speed we use for comparison. This basically means how long something takes to travel a certain distance. We're going to cover speed in greater detail in the next session, but for purposes of explosive strength, we're going to mention it briefly now. The amount of speed greatly affects the amount of power someone can generate. Simply having strength on its own will not generate power. Therefore, working on generating speed is just as important as generating strength. And this leads us on to explosive strength. The aspects of explosive strength are starting strength. This is the ability to recruit as many muscle fibres as possible at the beginning of a movement. Acceleration strength, the ability to keep muscle fibres active once they've been recruited. Reactive strength, this is the body's ability to store energy on the eccentric phase and convert it into kinetic energy in the concentric phase. The main strength type used for developing power punches is starting strength. The muscles and explosive strength. The motor units that are used for explosive power are the fast twitch motor units. The explosive power energy system. The energy system that is used is the ATP, PCR and anaerobic glycolytic energy system. Explosive strength and boxing. Explosive strength enables you to hit harder and move faster. Developing explosive strength. Plyometrics. Plyometrics is a type of exercise training designed to produce fast, powerful movements and improve the functions of the nervous system, generally for the purpose of improving performance in a specific sport. Plyometric movements, in which a muscle is loaded and then contracted in rapid sequence, use the strength, elasticity and innervation of muscle as it was supposed to be surrounding tissues to jump higher, run faster, throw further or hit harder depending on the desired training goal. Plyometrics is used to increase the speed of force or muscular contractions. Examples of plyometric exercises for boxing are clapping press-ups. This is where you do a push-up but push up and clap before you land. Squat jumps, where you squat down and jump up as high as you can. And torso rotations, where you rotate backwards and forwards as fast as you can. That brings us to the end of the video and the section on strength. I hope you've enjoyed watching and have learnt something from it. The next video is about the factors affecting speed and suppleness and how to develop them. See you next time.